Today you can witness a terrible fire in a shopping mall. Our heroes have managed to get caught in it. Will Yui be able to save his friends and get out of there himself? Will he be able to master magical powers and apply them in reality so that no one suspects anything? Yuya found a sage's book in a dark cave he accidentally wandered into. It was written in an incomprehensible language with hieroglyphics. But the boy was able to read it. The text said that a certain man was able to pump himself up in real life with the help of gaming skills. He talked about how he had ideally mastered art, hand-to-hand combat, painting, and that was only a small part of what he had been able to learn without any effort in reality. He wrote that certain gods offered him to join them, but he refused. In the book the man addressed to his reader, he wrote that the power that Yuya possesses is much stronger than it appears at first glance, and because of it the guy might begin to be feared by ordinary people. That, at least, was the case with him. The author narrated his loneliness. This book was his diary, the only one who could listen to him and where he could express his thoughts. He was invincible and strongest, could live forever, but he dreamed of death. So what could he do to keep people from being afraid of Yui? Only if you build relationships that he could trust, who would not abandon him in times of need. At the end, it was written that the wise man could tell the young man anything he wanted to know, but there was a condition. He answered only one question. What will you choose? Ignore, to be a normal person. Liking and subscribing, become a mage. Yuya chose to learn something about magic. The last pages said everything about magic. Except that magic energy was beyond Yuya's control, so the sage passed his magic system on to his follower. He wished the best for the boy and they said goodbye. Magic was based on imagination, but first you have to feel the magical energy within yourself to learn how to control it. Spending days studying magical abilities you managed to achieve some results. Now you had to gather the energy in your palms and imagine what you wanted from the magic. Yuya went outside to practice, and he succeeded the first time. At the palace, a knight came to the king to report to Yuya. Lexia wants to marry him, and the knight accidentally blabbed it to her father. He was furious at the news. Yuya returned to normal reality, but his thoughts were still in the virtual world. His teacher told him that next week there would be outdoor assignments, a kind of camping trip lasting 2 days and 2 nights. Yuya ended up teaming up with Kamid, Akira, and Rin. A pretty good relationship develops between them right away. But Yuya doesn't even have a backpack, though his grandfather liked to travel, so he can borrow his briefcase for a couple of days. After hearing that the boy didn't have a backpack, Kamid suggested that he go to the store to pick something for the hike. That same day they went to a large mall. They didn't go alone, but as a group they took Kaori with them, to make it more fun. They all got together in order to buy everything they needed for the trip. Everyone's opinion was important here. Yui was a little embarrassed that everyone had to go to the store because of him, but everyone was happy about this coincidence, so it was probably for the best. The other guys were shocked that Yui had become friends with Kaori, since she was the headmaster's own daughter. Even though she was a fairly ordinary girl and an ordinary student like everyone else here, she was still more respected than anyone else. But where is Akira? He had unexpected plans, so he couldn't attend the meeting. The group of teenagers went to the department that sold everything for camping. On weekdays it was very free, unlike on weekends. Kaori found a turquoise backpack and offered to try it on. It looked good, and it was the right size. Now that they had found the backpack for Yui, the main aim of the day was accomplished. Now it was time for a good rest. They went straight up to the arcade floor. Shingo saw a slot machine that he had always wanted to play. But the only thing is that he plays very poorly and will not be able to win anything. Then, Yui decided to try to play it. He had never seen one before, but in principle, how to move and what to do was understood intuitively. So there shouldn't be any problems. Yuya turned on his weakness detection skill and immediately knew where to hit for the prize box to be in his hands. A couple of keystrokes and the metal hook came into action. It drove across the booth and knocked the toy over. All his friends were ecstatic about such a victory. The guy gave the prize he won to Shingo. He had just been dreaming about this model. Keed, seeing Yui's talent for winning prizes, dragged him along so that he in turn helped her get the stuffed cat toy out of the slot machine. He used his weakness detection trick again and easily won the toy for the girl. Then the guys got all excited and started asking the guy to help them too. He was pleased with such attention, and of course he did not refuse to help his friends. In just a couple of moves, he made all his friends happy. It turns out that it takes very little effort to give someone an article. Ryo suggested that the boys go to the 7th floor to get a cup of tea. Rin said to let the boys go get their tea for now, while the girls go about their secret business, then catch up with the boys. Secret business meant the 13th floor, where there was a pile of clothes. Some of the guys bought coffee. It turned out to be bitter. Nevertheless, they carried the burden with dignity. Yuya really enjoyed spending time with his friends like this, something he hadn't even dreamed of before. I wish we could go out like this more often. The cheerful atmosphere filled with jokes and laughter was interrupted by the fire alarm. There was a fire in the mall on the 10th floor, in the arcade. Oh no! There are girls on the 13th floor, we have to hurry before the fire gets to them. Bypassing the security guards, Yuya rushed to the stairs. Ryo called Keed, they are still on the floor since they haven't had time to come down. This is trouble. Something has to be done. But the guards, despite the guys' pleas, won't let the guys go any further. Yuya heard about the report that the girls were still on the floor and jumped over the guards to get to the girls. Running up the stairs, he came to the epicenter of the fire. If he didn't put it out, he couldn't get any further. But how to do it? A fire extinguisher wouldn't do the job, and the fire department was still far away. It was time for magic. He didn't train for nothing after all. Yuya created a water shell around himself to be safe and ran through the flames. Most of the girls had already passed out from the carbon monoxide. We have to hurry. Otherwise, it will be too late. Paying no attention to anything, Yuya thought only of his friends. At the last moment he managed to get to his classmates. Now he had to get back somehow. But would he be able to save everyone? It was worth a try. He ran through the fire again, but because of the destruction, there were obstacles. The firefighters couldn't cope with the situation, so they couldn't help the students in any way. Yuya decided to go through the fire. With a through blow, he knocked out the wall and got out. Everyone seemed to be alive and in one piece, and that was the most important thing. Cory's father was now doubly indebted to the guy, for he had saved his daughter again. The firemen, of course, scolded the boy for such antics, but were grateful nonetheless. Looking at Cory's family, Yui felt a little lonely. After all, he has no family. No one waiting for him at home, no one worried about him. With these thoughts he went home, opened the door and saw night.